59%.
We are live.
Good morning. Good morning. How you doing?
Good morning. Good morning. Today is Mindfulness Monday, and we have a topic. We're going to be discussing growth mindset versus fixed mindset.
And we're also going to talk about how was your weekend? Are you ready for this week? So we're going to talk about what happened this weekend, how to get ready for this week, how to use today's conversation as a launch for the week, because we want this to be a significant week for you.
Absolutely. And we will be right back to talk about it in just a moment.
Good morning. My name is Brian McNeill.
And I am Lisa Santiago McNeill.
And thank you for joining us on our show, Let's Talk About It. We come to each Monday through Friday right here on the SIBN network, on iHeartRadio, YouTube, TuneIn, as well as Facebook Live. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Like. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Monday to you, and welcome again to Let's Talk About It with the Environment Duo. I am Lisa Santiago McNeill.
My name is Brian K. McNeill. I'm looking forward to working with you guys today, talking with you guys today.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. I can't share it to my page yet, but I will. So, how was your weekend? How was your weekend, Lisa?
It was lovely.
This was our wedding anniversary weekend. Saturday was actually our wedding anniversary, and we actually had a chance to go and support my cousin who opened up a paint and sip shop.
Yes.
It was very well attended. Her business, her grand opening, so to speak. Very well attended. Good food. We had a good time. We were just happy to be there to support family and friends. We bumped into old friends there too.
Mm-hmm. I was trying to send it to your page, but I don't see where I can.
Now I was doing something else. I'm at 4% now. But anyway, my phone is chosen right now, right before the show, to do an upgrade or something.
Of course. So the topic again, of course, we want to catch up on your weekend. We had a magnificent weekend.
Last night we got a chance to hang out with grown folks.
Yes, and have some stimulating conversation.
And it was stimulating, I'll tell you. We had a great time last night talking with some other grown folks. You know, grown folks, it's a good idea to get around other grown folks, to have grown folk conversations. We were talking about, just life in general, men, women, relating to millennials, how to pass on knowledge and information. It was just a really, really impassioned and fun time. I had a couple of cigars there. Well, one at that event, but this weekend I've had a couple of cigars, and that's always makes for a better weekend, having a couple of cigars. Good morning, Mr. William Brown. How you doing, sir? Today's topic, we want to talk about the weekend, yes. How was your weekend? And we want to help you get ready for the week, yes. But we also want to cover this thing called the growth mindset
versus
the fixed mindset. Growth mindset versus fixed mindset. Now, what are you? Growth mindset or fixed mindset? Most people would knee-jerk respond, well, I'm a growth mindset. Really? Are you?
You think that?
Yep. But when you examine it at least just a little bit, most people, I think, are more on a fixed mindset.
I don't think so.
You don't?
No,
okay.
I don't think so. I think that at least most of the people that we interact are in a growth mindset.
Well, let's define it as we both understand it.
I did. First. I put some definitions down.
Okay.
So there are a couple of different definitions the dictionary uses for growth and fixed, and you can apply mindset to the way that your brain operates or the things that you think. So growth is the process of increasing in physical size, developing or maturing physically, mentally, or spiritually, and the process of increasing in amount, value, or importance. Would you agree with that?
I do. Mm-hmm. I'm with those. Cool. Well, that definition so far works for me.
Fixed, in other hand, is fastened securely in position or predetermined and not subject to change or able to be changed.
Notice how Lisa asked me, am I good with that definition? Because we both very often challenge the dictionary's definition of things, because sometimes when we leave the dictionary, it misses the mark.
My back is itching. I can't reach it. Down, 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 down.
This is not good TV.
Oh,
This is not good TV.
Thank you.
Scratching your back on TV.
Hey, you gotta be on wherever you can be on.
This is not good TV.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. That is a loving husband's example right there.
No, the whole game off. Anyway, we do often question the dictionary. There's certain words the dictionary doesn't do well.
Right.
Okay.
But I researched it, and I think all three of those pieces put together for growth will definitely cover the growth that we're talking about.
Now, let me give you my definition, the Brian and I's definition of growth mindset. The growth mindset is a clear understanding that you don't know everything, but you can learn anything. That you can learn anything. Whereas the fixed mindset believes things are inherent. Okay, I'm just not that good at this. Okay, I'm Irish, so we drink and fight. Okay, inherent stuff. Okay, not dependent upon what you learn. The growth mindset keeps you humble and also open to learning. That's the way I see the difference. The difference is one believes that you can learn how to do that, even if you don't know how. Even if you have no clue how, you can learn it. That's the growth mindset, which, if I go into my Einstein bag, means you have what's called intelligence. And intelligence, the dictionary defines it as, and Einstein thinks intelligence is just below imagination, but the dictionary defines intelligence as the ability to learn. So the growth mindset puts you in the ability to learn space.
So, well, one of the things that I thought about as I explored this concept was that I agree that a growth mindset is a powerful thing. And that growth mindset and fixed mindset are not always necessarily mutually exclusive, because there are some things that are not typically associated with mindset, are more typically associated with personal character traits that we could begin to think in terms of whether or not that mindset would contribute to or detract from the ability to be entrepreneurial.
A fixed mindset or growth detract from? What are you saying?
Well, I think that a fixed mindset, I don't think it's a mindset. I think it's a characteristic or character trait. And I think the character trait of security or lack of security has as much an impact on whether or not you can have a growth mindset and a fixed mindset, and whether or not they can coincide.
Okay.
So I don't think that it keeps you from being willing to learn. I think that sometimes a fixed mindset keeps you from being willing to learn in a situation where you don't have that security.
A fixed mindset keeps you from learning in a situation where you don't have the security.
No, I don't think it keeps you from learning. I think there's certain people that says, oh, well, I'm really good at math, so I'm going to learn all the math there is. Right. I'm going to be, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to get a job in math, and I'm going to do all of that. Bill says, I actually believe that I have a growth mindset, but many times I forget and act as if I have a fixed mindset.
Exactly.
The more I remember, the more I have access to grow. Absolutely. Brian was talking about, go ahead. He was talking about the mantra and the importance of reminding himself of the mantras that he said to himself earlier on in his personal development, and had not been applying them as consistently or recently, and that they still work.
Good morning, Dr. Beverly. How you doing? That's right. Before we started the show, Lisa and I was talking about that, and the article that we got a lot of the inspiration for today's talk was, I'd read the article before, so that's the second time I read it. But it reminded me of the mantras I used to say to myself, and this is correct, during my developmental years in professional selling. My mantra, I had two, okay? But my mantra, one of them, number one was I love my work and I'm the best. I love my work and I'm the best. And I used to strive to say that out loud to myself 50 times a day. I'm in the car. I'm by myself most of the time. I love my work and I'm the best. I love my work and I'm the best. I love my work and I'm the best. And then because I did in-home sales, I had to go to the client, either their home or office, but I had to go to them. And I would say that, especially on my way to the appointment, I love my work and I'm the best. I love my work and I'm the best. And then when I got out of my car, I would say, and I'm going to prove it right now. And I'm going to prove it right now. And I'm going to prove it right now. That mantra, by the time I got there, imagine putting yourself in that situation. If you have been saying that to yourself over and over again, by the time you get there, what do you think your face looks like? What do you think your energy level is like? But that's what I used to do. And why is that something that you used to do, Brian? Why don't you still do such a thing? So that was one of my mantras. And if you permit me, I'll share the other one. The other mantra I had was that I said a lot of times was, if this can be sold, it will be sold by me right now. If it can be sold, if it's possible that a sale could happen at all, if it can be sold, it will be sold by me right now. None of this, I'll come back next week, next month, whatever. If it can be sold, it will be, because it made me believe that of all the people on the planet, I am qualified to make this particular sale right now. That was a mantra I had in my head. Good morning, Mr. George Allen, a.k.a. Chef Ram.
Good morning to you. Dr. Beverly says, good morning, family. Today I helped the enemy expose himself. It's cool how we ask for things and they appear under a toxic circumstance, and the toxic part isn't seen as...
Until one side of the coin becomes shinier than the other. Be specific in what you ask for, and remember there are 3 parts to a coin: top, bottom, and the sides. We have to be so careful. Amen. Amen. It's interesting Dr. Beverly should say that right there while Mr. William Brown is here, because Mr. William Brown is the first person who taught me there's more than 2 sides to an issue. Okay, that's true. He's the first person that exposed that to me. And he talked, and then I thought I knew what it was going on. I was like, yeah, that's right. There's yours, there's mine, there's ours collectively. But William was able to explore there's more than 3 sides. Okay, there's more than 4 sides. There's a lot of different sides to every issue. Depends on where you're standing when you're in front of the issue, you know. So Dr. Beverly saying there's side, that side, and top, bottom, and the sides. Yeah, and it might even be more.
Absolutely, absolutely. As I was thinking about the growth mindset versus the fixed mindset, indirect relationship to entrepreneurship, of course, because that's the perspective that we take things on oftentimes here. I think that there is a personality trait that can come into play there.
Flatulate.
I think that, well, I was trying to leave room for you to interject.
I wanted to see where you go at first. Okay.
I think there's a personality trait that you can interject in there. Besides someone being known as smart or not smart, or being the subject matter expert in a particular thing or not, I think having a person, whether or not they're willing or not willing to take a certain amount of risk, is going to determine how much growth they might allow in their sphere of influence versus how much a fixed sentiment they want to take.
Amen. And if that's dependent upon how much risk and sentiment you're willing to take and sentiment you're willing to bear, that leads me to believe that your levels of confidence matter a lot. And what levels of confidence can be developed matters a lot. Because
do you think that?
Because when someone is more confident, they're willing to take on more risks and they can bear a lot more sentiment.
I think confidence and risk might be a little bit, I think that's a stretch, because I know some people that are it depends on what they have confidence in.
Okay.
Confidence in their abilities, confidence in their training. I think that can definitely be both a fixed and a growth mindset.
Amen. We're on Monday morning. This is the first day of the week. We often say Monday is the most important day of the week because Monday sets the pace for your week. We believe that Monday is for winners. That's what Monday is for. It's for winners. This is going to be a hot day for most of the country, actually. It's going to be hot today. And the one way to ensure that you have a good week is to have a good Monday. And one way you have a good Monday is you have the mindset that you are going to have a good Monday. And then once you have the mindset firmly in place, fixed in place, so to speak, then you're going to do the actions that it takes to ensure that you have a good Monday. Amen. So looking at it that way, I inadvertently bumped into the growth and fixed mindset can be on the same side of the street sometimes. Does that make any sense?
Sure.
Yeah, this is a really, really fun conversation, but it's also high-minded. You got to be alert. And it's one thing we need more in life is more alerts. You have to be alert. Get it? You have to be alert, and we need more alerts. Get it?
Dr. Beverly says, yes, Lisa, exactly, a personality trait. I definitely think confidence does not have to be exclusive of growth or fixed mindset. I think a person who may have a fixed mindset, for example, fixed on the fact that we need stability, this is the way you have stability, this is the way you have security, and they go about following the ladder or taking the necessary steps to get the degree, go to school. They have confidence in the fact that they have the ability to do those things, but that they are structured in a certain way.
And learned enough to make it happen, right?
They could be continuous learners is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but learned enough to make at least some result happen, even though you're still learning.
They are making those results happen while still learning in a particular sphere of influence, meaning that they may be more corporate than they are entrepreneurial, because their personality trait is more of one that is security, the more that of the one that is consistent in the way that we've been trained and taught over the years. Not saying one thing is more secure than another, but I'm saying the perception of security is not often associated with entrepreneurship. The perception of security is not often associated with risk takers. The perception of security is not often associated with someone who is willing to make changes in their life without a safety net.
Amen. Mr. George Allen, a.k.a. Chef Rev, is here. I'm not sure if we took the moment to say good morning to you, because I want to say good morning to you.
You did, but it's worth saying again.
Mm-hmm. Dr. Beverly also says, is fixed mindset complicated when you seek growth or change mindset? And where does character / personality change or grow in the process? Good question. Mr. William Brown, because you're my friend, because you and I have had so many conversations, both in person and on the phone and via Zoom, and you've interviewed me a few times on your show, Conversations? You and I have talked one word conversations. We've talked about a lot of things. And one of the things I want to ask you, Bill, if you're still on here, did I ever tell you about the time that I was in a car accident with a little person? And I need Bill to respond, because I want to know, Bill, if I ever told him that story about the time I was in a car accident with a little person. But anyway, back to the lecture at hand.
Is fixed mindset complicated when you seek growth and change mindset? And where does character / personality change or grow in the process? We actually talked a little bit about core. And I think last night when we were with our friends, and I think who a person is at their core, this person had the definition that is who they are, and that is not going to change depending upon what they're doing. I happen to believe that while that might be typically true, it is not inherently true, meaning that there could be an experience, an activity, or something that could happen in a person's life that impacts their character and personality to the same degree that it might impact their core beliefs
and change them altogether. I agree with Lisa on that. I couldn't go with him on, he believes if and he could defend his position passionately too. If a person's a cheater, they're just a cheater. If they're a thief, they're just a thief. Okay, well, yeah, they might have been a cheater and a thief at a point in their life, but sometimes things change and their core can change. They can see things. I can see clearly now the rain is gone. They get clear-eyed sometimes. And sometimes they have to go through enough pain. And that's where patience, I think, shows up. Like we talked about the men's meeting. Sometimes men have to hear stuff a lot of times, okay, before it sinks in. Just like you had to learn your ABCs a lot of times before you knew it. You had to practice tying your shoes a lot of times before you got it. Okay, so sometimes people don't get it right away. I am going to tell that story real quickly here about the time I was in a car accident with a little person. I didn't know there was a little person before I got into the accident, obviously. But anyway, it was a car accident. It could have been either one of our fault. But he got out of his vehicle upset. He was very upset with me. And, we fussing back and forth whose fault it was. And then he looked up at me and said, "I am not happy." And I said to him, "So which one are you?" You get it? Which one are you? I told that story to Lisa in the car one night this week, and she was like, "Well, was everybody okay?" And she was all in. Dr. Beverly.
She says, like earlier, just like seeking someone to be compatible to you or for you. Instead of asking for that someone to be suitable for the assignment that is placed on your life, it's easy to be compatible for season. Like in the season you're down, I can be compatible for you, but then will I be suitable for you when you're at success level? There has to be a shift in mindset, focus, a new download to upload.
Yeah,
Bill,
that happens a lot. Dr.
Don't
Beverly.
encourage him.
That is hilarious. You're right, Bill. That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
It's horrible.
It's still funny.
It's horrible. It's horrible.
The louder the groan, the better the pun. The louder the groan. If the whole room goes, that means it was a pretty daggone good joke. That's what that means. And you're welcome to share the joke too, by the way. I'm excited about this week. I am super excited about this week because I know this week matters. I'm excited because this upcoming weekend, we're gonna travel to Raleigh, North Carolina, actually, to see my children. I'm excited about seeing my children. I'm excited about seeing my grandchildren. I'm excited about coaching my nephew on selling today. And the weather's going to cooperate too.
And I am looking forward to all of the planning, preparing that is going on right now behind the scenes for the Empowerment Showcase on May the 15th. I'm so excited.
Yes.
You guys are going to be able to be at our first physical event in 3 years, I want to say. 2 years, yeah. 2 years at least. We've been still doing and maintaining with our virtual events, but we will have a physical event this year on May the 15th, and you get to meet some of my authors, and I'm just excited. I'm excited. We'll give you more about that.
In Charlotte, North Carolina, where we're broadcasting from, I saw that the weather forecast for today was a high of 86, okay, in my area. And my thought was, today's a day to wear shorts. If you just happen to be in a work environment or a homework environment where you can wear shorts, today might be a shorts day. Because right now, both Lisa and I are wearing short pants for work.
Growth mindset and fixed mindset. So a growth mindset, I think, would be able to take in new information, take constructive criticism, and definitely to adjust as they go. So a growth mindset is resilient. Yep. A growth mindset would be
humble, I think.
Humble. Go ahead and explain humble. It's one that I saw, and I think I agree with it as well, but I look forward to your definition.
The way I see that, the growth mindset lends more to being humble, because the growth mindset presupposes you don't know everything. Up front, you don't know everything, but you can and you're willing to learn it. instead of you coming to the table like, I know all about that, or I know what I'm doing, or I don't have to study. Okay. I'm so smart. I don't have to take training. I don't have to hire a coach. I don't have to take a class. I don't have to study. Whereas the growth mindset, you know, that's not the case up front. You know, you're not the smartest person and you need to learn. That's how I see it.
Dr. Beverly says, again, the Academy Award goes to the Empowerment Duo Show. This is really helping me this morning. Thank you, everyone. Well, we're appreciative.
And I can see from your post, Dr. Beverly, that you know, some things are being worked out in you right now. And I'm happy to see that you are receptive to it and you're making meaning of whatever that thing is. You're making meaning of what you're putting into your thoughts and what you're sharing with the world today.
Bill says, I currently believe we do have a core. However, how and when it shows up, typically because of our experiences, our understanding of what is happening. Hope that makes sense. I do believe that I understand what you're saying, but I think that some core values, people perceive that they don't change. Some core values people perceive that they don't change, that they are inherently who that person is. If they're stubborn, they're going to always be stubborn. If they are, you know, if they're
cheater, a thief, a liar, you know, I'm going back to the conversation we had last night. I will say this to you, William Brown, too. He's a little bit older than us. And he said, you know, I was talking about the men's meeting, about how some men, you know, have to hear stuff a lot of times and it's helpful. He goes, no, man, if they don't get it after the first or second time we tell them, they just ain't going to get it. I said, what do you mean? If they don't get it after the first or second time, I don't want to have nothing to do with them. He goes, I don't have nothing to share with the men. I don't have nothing to teach them. I can't share and I can't teach. And then he spent 30 minutes of an impassioned teaching why he can't teach. I thought it was interesting, wasn't it?
It was very interesting, but those are not the takeaways that I got from it. Mm-hmm. Bill says, Bill, when you're talking about the core that we have, so that is, I don't always say that I don't say that. What do you call it? I don't think that lying, cheating, and stealing are characters, right? They're character traits. I think those are definitely born of circumstance in situations. I don't think that someone is intrinsically a cheater. Oftentimes, I think that cheaters or liars just don't believe that their truth is enough. So that doesn't mean that they get a pass. That means that they have to learn their self-value and their truth has to evolve to the place that they feel that it can be accepted.
I think you're right. Lisa and I are watching this movie now in our home called Guess Who? Okay. And it's the story of Bernie Mac and his daughter and his wife. And she brings home his daughter, his firstborn daughter brings home a white man to be her husband, a fiance, and it's played by Ashton Kutcher. Okay. Now, Bernie Mac and Ashton Kutcher, to me, they both, and the daughter, they lie a lot in this movie. Okay, because they don't believe their truth is good enough. First off, Ashton Kutcher is lying, saying that he's in the NASCAR when he's not. Okay, Bernie Mac lies to his people at work, saying his daughter's marrying someone from Morehouse. That's not true, but they lying to cover up for a perceived deficiency. Again and again and again in this movie, they're lying to each other, or lying to everybody else, and the cover-ups of the lies and the exposing of the lies. Again and again and again. You need to borrow money? No, I don't need to borrow money. Yeah, you do. Okay, but they're lying because they don't believe their truth is good enough.
Absolutely. And I think that once they came to terms with their truth as it was, both as the individual and as the one who is perceiving the individual, then you become more comfortable with exposing the real truth.
But that highlights also when you just said about that may not be a core belief. These folks are lying because they don't think their truths are good enough. But once it got exposed, now, if they was to adopt the philosophy of, well, if they lied once, they just plain out a liar, period, no matter what. Okay, then they can never reconcile. They can never get close.
Right.
because they can never trust each other.
Exactly. And that's why you get to choose whether or not you believe that is in a person's core. Just like there are certain circumstances where people might say once a cheater, always a cheater. If they've been in a situation with an individual who has cheated on them in the past, I was watching Married with something or other, one of them, Married to Medicine. The husband actually said, now he and his wife have been in a relationship together for 15 years. They've been married for 7. In the conversation, he says, I cheated on my wife for 7 years. Well, they've been married for 15. They were a couple for 7 and married for 8. So together for 15.
So for the 7 years before they got married or during the marriage?
No, before he cheated. He says he cheated. Now, I don't know whether this is true or not, but this is from his mouth, and this is reality television just for an example here, right? Not for anything else. Only because it's easier to talk about imaginary, fictitious people that you don't know than to speak about someone whose business you're putting on the street. So anyway, but in his mind, his core belief was, when I am married, it's not cheating. So when he got married, that's it. No more cheating.
He was talking about he was cheating with her.
No, he was cheating on her before they got married.
But you also said when they got married, it wasn't cheating no more.
That's right. It was cheating because they were not married. In his mind, he had not made the covenant that he has to be.
So even when he was having sex with her, he felt he was cheating.
I don't care how he felt. The truth of the matter was he was having sex with other people and her.
Okay.
So he could have been cheating, or we could call it cheating, whatever you want. It was what was happening. But when he got married, he changed his, I want to say not necessarily belief system, but his activity. He was no longer cheating. He would no longer be with anybody else. According to him, the 8 years that they've been married, he has never, ever, ever had sex with anyone outside of his marriage.
I can believe that. I can believe that easily. Mr. William Brown says, I will use myself. I am reserved at my core. Sometimes that shows up as shy or quiet, scared, or timid. But sometimes it shows up as intentional, deliberate, and thoughtful. I believe actions like cheating is a result or symptom of something else. Amazing. Is a result or a symptom of something else.
I definitely can definitely agree with that. Whether or not the person is willing to accept or delve into that to find out the result is how they see cheating and how they see the relationship. So I think that it can definitely be the result of or the symptom of something else. That doesn't necessarily denote or connote whether or not it is acceptable or not acceptable. That is something that has to be defined by the individuals that are experiencing it.
Let's explore the first part of himself, that comment Mr. William Brown just made. I will use myself as an example. I am reserved at my core. Sometimes that shows up as shy, quiet, scared, or timid, but sometimes it shows up as intentional, deliberate, and thoughtful. When those times when it shows up as shy, quiet, scared, or timid, and you know it's showing up, your natural, reserved core nature is showing up as shy or timid. How do you feel about that? You know, you don't feel like you're shy or timid, do you? But you believe it's showing up as sometimes, so much so that you can recognize it as showing up as like that.
Good morning, Dr. Deborah. How are you today? I actually had an experience this weekend, and I decided to take a moment to explore where those characteristics came from. I actually made a video for myself. I didn't share it yet. I made the video for myself as it relates to the experience. In the experience, I was challenged and not respected by the expected result of a transaction that was taking place. My response, although it was in text, my physiology was, if the person were in front of me, it would have definitely changed to the extreme from an outsider, because it was in text, you couldn't see it. but I could feel it. And I could feel my ears getting hot. I could feel my ears getting clogged, like there was cotton in them. I actually felt my hands shaking, like I couldn't get my words to text right. Because I was being what's the word? When you're disregarded.
Mm-hmm.
I was feeling disregarded and disrespected.
You played small.
And so I had to, after that experience happened, I got through it because it was via text. And actually there was a quite amenable ending to it. But I still had to go, what happened? What happened in that experience that triggered the memory that caused me to respond in this particular way to something that did not necessarily merit it this way, but it was so similar to the first time I think I felt that, and I've been exploring that.
Interesting. You know, that situation happened and it caused you, and afterward happened, it caused you to want to examine, why did I go there on this situation? Why did it make me feel like that?
Often that's the case for me because first of all, I don't ever want anybody to control my responses.
Lisa, don't say that, okay? Say this instead. Go ahead. Dr. Deborah, good morning. Mr. Mark Greer, good morning. We're having some fun here. We're talking, first off, I do want to talk about your weekend. Hopefully you had a great weekend. This was our wedding anniversary weekend. Everywhere we go, people think we've been married longer than the time that we actually have. That's why I almost don't even want to say it. You know, when people say, how long you guys been married? I almost don't even want to tell them, but it's been 6 years, just 6 years. People swear we've been married for 30 years or 20 years or something like that.
Well, we have been married for 25 years.
Yeah, just to other people.
So I think you can still count that because there was learning done in all those situations.
Yes.
Absolutely.
But I use that like when I'm joking with someone. And I've been married for 27 years, actually. Yes. 3 different women. I'm not married to the other 2. I got one right now that I've only been with for 6 years married. Okay. But it's a joke. You know, you say that from the platform or the stage. Growth mindset versus fixed mindset was our launching pad this morning. Whereas I define growth mindset as the willingness to understand that you don't know everything, but you're willing to learn and you have the ability to learn. You have the ability to learn and you're willing to learn and you know upfront that you don't know. Whereas the fixed mindset believes that more things are inherent. Okay. I'm good at math because I'm good at math, or I'm bad at math because I'm bad at math. It's inherent. It's not necessarily about how much you learn. Okay. It's what you have. Okay, and I see that even in my children sometimes. I have a son that he just believes he's good at math and not good at reading. Okay, he believes he's good at math and he believes he's not good at the other thing. And try as we might, because I believe that's one of his principles or values. He almost stands on it and defends that position, and he performs that way.
And I think that goes back to belief system. If you believe that you can, or if you believe that you can't, you're both right.
And also this morning, if you guys are just joining us, we went down a road where it reminded me of when I was in my most dynamic growth spurt as a professional. From age 24 to 31. I was just a beast reading a lot. I was reading everything and growing. By the time I was 27, man, I had a definitely greater than an MBA in how to sell. I knew more than 100 closes off the top of my head. I had written so much about selling by the time I was 27 because I had been studying so much. I'd given hundreds and hundreds of training classes by the time I was 27 because I became a corporate sales trainer. And Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. till 5 p.m., I'm teaching people how to sell. So I'm talking it all the time. Okay. But at the same time period, I had mantras. 2 mantras that I was willing to share with you guys that I kept going over and over in my head. My first mantra was the most important one was, I love my work and I'm the best. I love my work and I'm the best. I love my work and I'm the best. I would say it over and over with the intention of saying it 50 times a day. And the other mantra I had was, if it can be sold, it will be sold by me right now. Okay. Melissa Price says, Nate and I are celebrating our 11-year anniversary tomorrow. Whoop, 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 whoop. I'm hinging on my seat to see if he remembers. You don't have to do that. Why don't you just remind him? Why don't you remind him? Why play that game? Put him in a spot where he could potentially forget. Rescue him, Melissa. This is me. I'm suggesting to you. Don't even put him in a spot where he could potentially forget. Just tell him or remind him.
Dr. Deborah says, I pray you guys really enjoyed your anniversary weekend.
We did. We really did, Dr. Deborah. We should have had some of our anniversary weekend with you around.
We did not even take a picture of our meal.
Which meal? Oh, the meal that you cooked?
Yeah.
Whoa, we should have. My baby hooked me up a dinner before we went out last night. Lamb. We had lamb, y'all. She cooked up some lamb steaks with some salad and
lamb chops.
Yeah, lamb chops with some salad and some
sweet potato.
And it was everything. The lamb. Oh. When last time you had some lamb? I hadn't had lamb in a while, but it was delicious.
Bill says, Lisa, I believe that level of inquiry really gives us access to our completeness and our uniqueness. To often believe our response should be like everyone else's.
Yeah.
I didn't, to be honest, my response didn't have to be off the chain, and it wasn't, fortunately, because it was in text. But my self-reflection was more about the emotional feelings that were tied to the situation. I don't have a relationship with that person. I don't care about that person. I don't know the person, but the experience still felt like an attack and a disrespect. And to be quite honest, I had to realize what that was and what it denotes for me so that I don't allow it to happen again, meaning that I can see the situation in myself that is unresolved and how I respond to it.
I wonder to what degree your mindset at the time this texting is going on contributed to how you felt about it afterwards. What were you thinking at the time when you got into that place? I don't know if it does at all. I wonder what percentage you might believe that contributed to how you felt.
What I'm saying is everything was wonderful and fine until the response was dismissive and disrespectful. Well, it wasn't even disrespectful. It was contrary to what I had stated. And I know that I think I was having challenges with calculations in my mind. I was having challenges with comprehension in my mind. And so I felt like the individual was questioning my calculations, which they were, but they were wrong, not me. But that didn't matter. That should not have mattered. Even if I was wrong, it wasn't the end of the world. Why did I allow it to take me there, right? And their response could have simply be them standing up for what they thought was right. They weren't even aggressive. It wasn't aggressive, but I immediately took a position of defensive.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I wonder how your mindset at the moment contributed to how you felt afterwards. Sister Felicia Gardner says, good morning, beautiful people. Just checking in. Had a rough night, but feeling okay. Hope everyone is doing well. I'm sorry you had a rough night.
But I'm glad you're feeling better.
I'm glad you're feeling better. And sometimes those nights help us to appreciate the waking up or the next day. Mr. Mark Greer says,
intellectual growth should be a daily thing. People that are unwilling to experience growth in some way are inevitably due to become extinct.
Extinct is the right word. If you're not willing to grow, if you're not willing to adopt current thinkings and current technology, to me, the greatest example of that, Mark, is in sports. And there was a season where, especially in major sports, baseball, basketball, football, even hockey, the teams that adopted technology, like recording, like in baseball, for example, when the teams that were early adopters of recording every at-bat and every pitch, they recorded every at-bat and every pitch, and they were able to make calculations that when this batter faces a left-hand pitcher, he has a 60% chance of hitting the ball into right field. Okay. Or if he faces a left-hand pitcher and this batter faces a right-hand pitcher, they had all these stats and they have moved their team based upon stats. It was stats driven. It was technology driven. Whereas the old heads was like, nah, I got a feel for this. I got a feel because I've been around long enough. And the teams that adopted that technology, they were winners, and the ones that didn't were losers. Okay. Hotels, for example, when hotels switched from having the big book up front and the metal keys, but they wrote everything down in a ledger to put everything on computer. The hotel chains that were slow to change, okay, they got left behind by the fast movers. Okay. You do want to, like Brother Mark said, inspire me there, have that growth mindset, looking for ways of doing it better and faster, smarter, and maybe even different than what you did before.
Bill said, I got hot one time during a terrible customer service experience. It surprised me. After sitting with it for a while, I saw that I really don't like being treated like everyone else or superficially. I never knew that.
I never knew.
And self-reflection and being willing to do that, I think definitely helps us to grow. Melissa says, I think I'm going to take a page from your book, Lisa, and cook a nice dinner for him tomorrow. I got Sophie homesick today. So we won't be going out to dinner or anything. And I'm going to make his favorite meal instead. Thanks for the inspiration.
And thank you for the sharing of that, Sister Melissa. I'm telling you, that's what he wants. He wants his wife to make a special meal for him. That's better to him than going out to dinner. Okay, that's what he wants. And especially if he believes that you know what his favorite meal is. Oh. Now, help me out with this here. Oh my gosh, it's 9:45. We got to do our greeting songs, especially on a Monday. But I was going to say, I'm not sure how I'm feeling about this lately because Lisa has been adamant about not wanting me to cook something. Okay. Now, I love my wife's cook, but I like my cooking too. And she's kind of like, no, Brian, don't cook. And I'm not sure how I feel about that. Actually, I don't think I like it, actually. What the heck is that, baby?
I'll share it with you off camera.
Off camera? Off camera? Steak and potatoes all day for that, man. Amen.
I can't share it without crying, so I'm going to share it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Because I'm a good cook. My all-time favorite meal is a meal that I cook. I love my wife's cooking. It's 9:46. We got to take our time to do something that's very, very important. We like to thank our core, our group, our regulars, and our consistent contributors. And the way we do that is with greeting songs and with greeting logos. And we're going to take it from the top. If this is your first time here, bear with us. This is something we do in appreciation for a person like Mr. William Brown. He's been coming around here so long, he has his own song. And his song goes, good morning to our friend Bill.
Nobody thinks like
him still. We love him so, and we always will. Our friend Bill. Mr. William Brown has his jam. Mr. George Allen, a.k.a. also known as Chef Rev, he has a jam too, and he goes, why must I eat like that? Why not hire Chef Rev?
He puts the good food in me.
Not. That's right. That's Mr. Chef Rev. Dr. Beverly, uniquely taking over Thomas. She has a logo. Her logo goes, Dr. Beverly is on the show. Good morning, Dr. Beverly.
Good morning to you, and thank you for taking your time out to not just join, but also contribute valuable perspectives to the show. We really, really appreciate it.
Miss Melissa Price has a song too, and it goes, bam, 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 bam. Melissa's on. Now it's time for us to sing her song. Melissa's on. Good morning, Miss Melissa Price. I pray that you enjoy your song. I even pray that Sophie, who's homesick today, enjoys your song as well. Dr. Deborah Dunstan has a jam as well.
Dr. Deborah, nonprofit strategist and funding coach.
Good morning, Dr. Deborah Dunstan. Mr. Mark Greer has a jam as well. His jam is so wide you can't get around it.
So low you can't get under it.
So high you can't get over it. Mark Greer is under a groove. He's getting down just for the funk of it. Mark Greer is under a groove. Nothing can stop us now. Come on.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mark Greer. Miss Felicia Gardner also has a song.
Felicia, we love you. You're the one for me.
All right, good job. So I think that's all the songs that we have for today. We have a lot of songs in our head because we've got a lot of people who have been willing to contribute to the show over the years.
And just so you know, steak and potatoes is my favorite meal too. I only have it once every 4 or 5 months because I try not to eat that much red meat.
Miss Phyllis is here. So clear the way. Miss Phyllis is here. Now we can all have a great day. That's Miss Phyllis George out of New York City. You know, she has that logo. How cool of a logo is that?
And thank you, Dr. Deborah. She says, Lisa, your makeup is looking really nice today. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I actually got up this morning and I did my 30 minutes of exercise.
She did 30 minutes on the treadmill, y'all.
And I took some meditation time.
She set her alarm and she was up before her alarm went off to go do it.
That's right. That's right. I want to take advantage of all the daytime because one of the things that I noticed in my evaluation of my mindset is that the summer months are the most productive for me. So now that the days are longer, I want to start as soon as I can before allowing myself. And I'm going to begin the mindset now that I am not controlled by the weather or the time of day. Because I actually remember now last year preparing to quit. I was preparing to quit on my walking team. I had a whole bunch of walking buddies that were walking with me throughout the we were in the what's the early part of the fall? The late summer. Mm-hmm. We were in the late summer, and I actually remembered proclaiming that the days are going to get shorter, so I'm going to have a hard time getting up and being out here. And I proclaimed that, and then I manifested it immediately, almost as if the clocks changed, and I was like, never mind, I'm not getting up. But now I'm going to prepare myself now, even during this beautiful extra daylight, that I'm going to be setting this, what do you call it? Setting a habit for myself that this time does not rely or depend upon the lightness of day, the time of year, those things where we're going to focus on getting better and feeling better.
That's encouraging because you do, since I've known you, I appreciate your direction now, and you're not going to let the weather dictate your mode, or your actions as much, because I've noticed it too. We both have. We talked about it lots of times. When it's hot out is Lisa's kind of day. So when I look at the forecast, see a high of 86. Oh, this is Lisa's kind of day here. You know, it's in my head now. Okay, a hotter day, better for my baby. Okay.
And that's still true. But any day, I think Brother Mark has said it, and I know Sporty King has said it as well. Any day that you can wake up and open your eyes and see the day should be a good day. You should perceive it as a great day. And I am going to be grateful for every day as much as my 83-degree days.
Yeah, 83-degree days. Yes. Okay, cool. So hopefully you have a great day. This is Monday, again, the most important day of your work week. To have a winning week, have a winning Monday. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow with some more fun and excitement and intellectually stimulating conversation. Thank you for joining us.
Absolutely. And it's Monday, so don't forget to have sex.